Today is the 19th anniversary of the tragedy of Selena. Now, I want to make this clear and I want to get this out of the way because I just hope that I don't want a lot of people on my case about this video because this is a personal tribute and this is something that I feel that I want to do for not just myself but for other people. And I just want to publicly give out my apologies right now for putting this particular video together. And the reason why I'm apologizing is because the things I will say, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's mostly just me speaking the truth, me telling, speaking it like it is. And it has a lot to do with the person I'm talking about, which is Selena. And if this gets taken off on YouTube, I apologize. But I'm someone that's very, very open-minded, and I'm gonna keep, speaking the truth no matter what. And it's just my own personal experience when it came to what happened that particular year. March 31st, 1995 was where all this started for me, as far as I'm concerned. Well, what happened. March 31st will go down in history as the night when Corpus Christi lost Selena. When we heard it on the news, when it was practically heard, seen all around the world, and everyone could not believe their own eyes when they heard that Selena Quintanilla had passed away. I was in Moody High School back in 1995. It was around Friday, and I remember going through the hallways of Moody High School. I was just leaving. I remember geometry class. I believe that was great. And I was walking down the hallways, and this was around, I believe, 12 noon or 1 o'clock. And I was walking down the hallways, and I kept noticing, a few girls crying. Then I kept noticing a few guys crying. And it was a surreal moment for me because I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't know what was happening. And then as soon as I got to homeroom class, I heard the news and it came up that Selena had got shot. And the first thing that came to my head was, oh my God, my mom she's got to be crying her eyes off right now. And sure enough, when I left school, went home, and as soon as I got home, my mom was right there sitting. She was crying. She was listening to a lot of Selena's music, like we always listen to every year. And then something big would happen that I would not expect too. My dad would come from work, right, and he laid out some news that a family member of ours was killed. And I go, well, wow, that's a coincidence. Selena, everyone's been talking about that Selena got shot by Yolanda and everything else like that, and oh my God, it's tragic. And all of a sudden my dad goes, there you go. I'm like, you're kidding, right? And I said something after that, you're kidding, right? And then my dad said, no, it's Selena. I'm like, in my head, I was just like all scratching my head a little bit, like. And my dad walks inside, and I'm like, going back in there, Dad, are you telling me that somehow, some crazy way, we are related to Selena? Yeah, we're like third, fourth, seventh cousin of the family and everything. I couldn't believe my ears when I was hearing this, that we were somehow related to the biggest Tejano superstar in all of Corpus Christi and in all of Texas and in all of Mexico. We were related to Selena somehow. And sure enough, April 2nd, believe it or not, wrestling related. April 2nd was WrestleMania 11. That took place and everything else like that, blah, blah, blah. That went out the window. And then the following day, I didn't go to school, and I went to the funeral. I was actually there when it all took place. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe the amount of people that were there at the funeral, mostly all family related, all family related. And I was like, in my mind, like, how in the world am I related to all these people? You know, that's what I was thinking. And we got there. We viewed Selena's casket, and we saw Selena in there. She looked beautiful and everything, and it was also at the same time very tragic because in my head, like, how can you take this away from everybody? I mean, and the first thing I'm thinking about was Yolanda. It's like you have no idea how much hated you're really gonna be when this whole thing's over. And sure enough, I was there when they buried her. I was also there. There was a part of the news, Caller Times. There was a picture of a woman that had a casket. There was a casket right there. I remember being there and I saw all sorts of paparazzis. I saw all sorts of helicopters being flying all around on the funeral when it happened. And I remember seeing a picture shot of I believe it was my aunt that was on top. There was a woman that was crying on top of the casket. That was my aunt Selena. And I remember being there with a white rose in my hand, and we were placing it on top of Selena's casket. And I, it was a truly surreal moment for me because I never thought I was related to Selena in any way possible. I knew who Selena was, obviously, because I've heard her music every time. My mom would play her music every time, whether it's New Year's Eve or Christmas or any time. Selena, it's been over 19 years now since her death. They have done so many things to remember Selena, from the Selena Auditorium to the statue of Selena that's been held up over at by Ocean Drive. Selena's name is such a tremendous, talented, gifted woman. If she was alive today, can you imagine how much difference she could have made in the music industry? Could you imagine if J-Lo was singing side by side with Selena? Or how about Shakira with Selena? You know? Just think of the possibilities of all of these great, talented musicians that we have today. And they associate themselves with Selena if she was alive today. Selena could have changed the face of the Tejano music business, could have changed the face of music forever. I'm not the biggest Tejano. Well, let me correct that. I like Tejano music. I'm more of a metalhead than Tejano. But I always feel like if Selena was alive, she could have made a huge difference in the music industry, and she could have changed the course of music forever. And it's just sad that it happened the way it did. And one thing's for certain, Selena will never be forgotten. Selena will always be remembered on March 31st. And every time I always hear like some of her older music, as a kid. I would go to my house, and when you walk in there, you'll see like a bunch of Elvis posters, but you would also see like a bunch of Selena posters as well, And I bet we all have that at our house, right? You go to your mom's house or your uncle's house or your aunt's house, and you walk in, you see a poster of Selena over here on that side, you see Elvis on the other side, you see another Selena poster over here, you see the Cumbia Kings on one side with Selena and everything. It's cool, and I think it's like I said, it's sad that all this had to happen to her, but at the same time, we all must respect Selena. And I know there's some people that